Hi everyone, Zach here. And this is going to be a little bit of a different series of what I normally do. We're not going to be doing polished tutorials. We're going to be working in robotics, and I'm going to be bringing my knowledge of C++ into that realm. Now, I've never done anything like this before. I have no idea if I'm going to succeed. Probably going to make a lot of mistakes, and I don't know what the record schedule for this is going to be. And I get that's a bit ironic for me to say, given I'm phenomenal at keeping to my recording schedules. Funny part is, I do all the recordings for a lot of these series. I just don't edit them fast enough. So really can't say how this series is going to play out. This is more of a vlog style, following me through this process. I'll try to explain what I'm doing along the way, my thought processes. I'll be upfront at this point. I actually don't know what the platform that we're going to build is going to look like. I have some of the parts. I'm going to use them at this stage to test ideas out and make sure I know enough of what I'm doing to at least have some idea that I can do a car of some sort. And that is the end goal, is to do a self-driving car. But again, I'm doing this purely based on my understanding of AI, my understanding of C++. I am learning the more hardware side of it as I'm going, especially the wiring stuff. And so, yeah, with that said, welcome to this new series. I will be still working on the other series. We have an RTS series in Unreal 5 that's been out on Patreon for a bit. I have a lot of videos that are recorded but not edited. Hopefully those will be released soon. Likewise, I still have videos for the survival series that I haven't edited. And as I get to editing where I'm currently at, I'll then progress the series into Unreal 5. This series will not look at Unreal at all. This will just look at me trying to do something I've never done before. And let's see where I can get. In terms of updates, so people know where I'm at and why things have been a bit slow. Not only have I moved countries, I've started a new job in industry. I can't go into too much detail because of course, NDAs, but I'm working as an Unreal engineer and a world operator. So if you're not familiar with world operation, that is in virtual production, or VP. If you've seen Mandalorian made VP really, really popular and famous among folks in the industry. Of course, other shows from Disney are using it. Other movies are using it. So I help maintain code that runs the screens, help maintain environments so they run properly on those screens at the right frame rate. But again, I can't go into too much detail on that, again, because of NDAs. Also, I am doing game development as part of this job for large corporations. Again, can't really go into details on that. That has been eating up a lot of my time, so that's why things have been a bit slow. All right, that said, with the introduction of this video done, I just am going to move into showing you the equipment that I have purchased for this. So we have our starting set of hardware and tools. Some of the things were purchased for this, some were things I just needed in the house, and some of the things I've owned for a while. So first, I have my trusty iFixit kit, which I've had for a while, as you can probably tell by the scratches. Just a simple precision screwdriver kit that we'll be using throughout the series. Right, so that out of the way. The brain of our system will be a Raspberry Pi 3. Now, this is my first time working with a Raspberry Pi, and I've chosen the 3 because it has a smaller power draw than the 3B Plus and the 4. Now, if I need more power, I can very easily find a 4. I can buy one down the street from where I live, about a 15-minute drive, so that is not a problem. All right, this is my first Pi, as I said, and let's take a look at it. It's a fairly small box, so, we'll see what's actually in here. All right. So, no static shield. Interesting. Cool. So there is our Raspberry Pi. We have an HDMI connector, our 40-pin header, and then let's just take this out. Oh, we do have an instruction set in there. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a second. 4 screw mounts. And then we have our Ethernet and 4 USB sockets. And there on the bottom is our SD card reader. So let's put this back for a minute and just take a look at what instructions are in the box. It'll be helpful to see on top. So read the instructions, look at it, make sure it's at the right temperature. Don't poke it when it's plugged in. And there is a push button it's telling me about near the pins. Okay. And any questions, go to raspberrypi.com. All right. And then we have our safety guide and user manual, which I will read off camera. All right. Moving on from there, because this does not come with a power supply, and a standard USB phone charger power supply I've read will not work. I got a power supply from KonaKit. And again, this will output 5 volts at 2.5 amps. It's that 2.5 amps that really kind of matters for this. And I'll be linking in the description links to all the items. All right, so let's take a look at what's in there. Simple, just power brick with a USB mini adapter. There's our power. So that will fit right there. Okay, so that will work. Awesome. So again, it's a mini USB. Now I got 2 of the same things. Now I did this intentionally because one wanted a couple of the items that I noticed after I made my initial purchase and did not return it. I have 2 breakout boards. I have a full breakout board in this one. I can't remember the number of pins in here, but I have a 40-pin ribbon, a half-size breakout board, so that's going to be 400 poles, as it says, and a ability to connect between the breakout board and the Raspberry Pi. Let's take a look at this. Now, if you know your brand names, you know where I bought this from, because Inland is typically sold at... Oh, I'm going to do this upside down. Okay, so this is what allows us to connect between the Raspberry Pi and our breakout board. And again, we have 40 pins there, male pins. And then at the bottom, covered up by this foam, we have another 40 pins that will connect into the breakout board. Here is our half-size breakout board. And then we have our lovely, colorful ribbon. The reason why I've chosen to go with ribbons is it's just easier to hook all 40 pins up directly and just have them ready to go as I need them. When we get into actual sort of building the robot properly, then I will select which pins I want to use. Right, I'm just going to put this off to the side for a moment. Likewise, in this, we have another breakout board or breadboard, whatever term you want to use. But the reason I got this one is it comes with a couple of things I really, really like. First is this little cover right here. Actually, it's not part of the cover like I thought it was. It's this little pamphlet inside, which lists the physical pin number and the pin numbers that we're actually going to use. So this will be a useful tool to have around. It's one reason why I wanted this. It's going to live on this part of the desk probably for a while. Next, we have our resistor chart information. And again, we have a 40-pin ribbon connector, female to female like the other one. So female end, female end. Again, we have our T-shaped shield for our board. Let's actually take a look. See if there's any difference between the two. So let me just open with my camera. Sorry, you said plug it towards me to do this, and I have to lean around the camera slightly to work this way. All right, hey, they do the same shroud on the bottom. Again, we have our shield or extension board. Let's just look at any sort of differences between them. You know, something about this just feels so video gamey to me because it's black on gold or gold on black, whereas this feels more sort of retro style with the white on green. Right. Honestly, the black is honestly easier for me to read. I might end up using this one just because I can see the text more clearly even at this distance. But again, to each their own on that one. We have a full-sized breakout board, or what I call full-sized, which I believe is 800 in here total. So that will be probably a little bit more useful in the long run. Sorry about that. I just had to re-angle the camera. We have what appears to be 4 disassembled buttons. So I'm just going to pop this bag open really quickly, take one of them out. So yeah, there is the actual button itself. And then we have the cap for the button, which should snap just onto there. I'm a bit afraid to do this. There we go. So yeah, we have the button. I'm going to bring it to the mic so you can hopefully hear it better. How easy is this to take apart? Okay, yeah, the cap comes off pretty easily as well. Not easy enough that I'm worried that it might come off incorrectly during a test or anything. Next, we have a set of resistors. I'm not going to open the bag for these. I just leave them in there until I'm ready to use them, which will be in the next bit we're going to do. Okay, and then we have a set of LEDs. Yeah, lovely little LEDs. And then we have male-to-male jumper wires. If I remember correctly, there's something like 60 odd in here, or 70 or 65. I'm going to quickly check the receipt on this because I know it had it on there. 65. There are 65 male-to-male jumpers in there. Right. So that's that. I need to start putting things back so I can easily do this, and I'll be back with you in a second. I actually have something I've been meaning to buy for ages for unrelated reasons, but we have a digital multimeter. Now, God knows I might replace this one later on. This is from Pulsevo. And give me a second, I'm just going to break the seal off camera because I need something sharp. Okay, so for opening the seal on that, let's take a look at what comes in here. We have our instruction manual. And we have our leads, connectors. Oh, hey, cool. And our actual multimeter, which appears to already have a battery in it. Let's just pull the tab and make sure that it actually works. So, pull. There we go. So, yeah, when I pulled the little seal out, I pulled the back of that off. So, yeah. So, let's just turn it on to a random setting, make sure it actually powers on. It does. I'll test this, actually make sure it works off camera. We have other things in here, including tape. Okay, so we have a fair amount of useful things in there. Awesome. On to our next bit, which will probably be the first thing I'm going to do in the next video, which is a holder. So this holder will work with different types of Raspberry Pis. As labeled on the box, it will work with the Raspberry Pi. It lists models A, B, and 0. We also have a spot for a Mega 2560 and an Uno. And we have for solderless boards on here, so we can put our breakout board in there. Comes with screwdrivers to actually take a proper look at it. All right, so let's take a proper look at it now that I've broken the seal on it. All right, so package includes 2 acrylic washers, 4 inches of rubber pads, pack of screws, and a screwdriver, which I definitely will not be using. And it's all nicely taped down on the solderless board section. Kind of curious if the full-size board in here will fit, so let's take a quick look at that. Just so you can see everything is in that package. There's our Phillips head, our anti-slip, our washers, and a whole bunch of screws. All right, let's take out our breakout board, and let's make sure our breakout board actually fits. It does. It takes a full-size board. Nice. We are going to leave that there for now, just so I have that ready. So let's put that off to the side. All right. Now, before we get into the fun thing, which is upside down, I realized I'm just going to talk about the SD cards we're using. Literally, first one I could find in a store that was 32 gigs. So we're using PNY micro SD cards. Now, on one of my computers, have a SD slot. It'll take both. It'll take an adapter. On the system I'm going to be doing some of these tests from, it doesn't have an SD card slot, so I picked up a simple SD card reader. This is just something I'm going to use on the fly. It has both a micro SD slot and a full SD slot. So simple USB. I hate these cases, but let's pop this open. through in the picture I saw of it, it actually showed this was flippable to hide it. So we have a full SD slot there and a micro SD slot. Now I will use this when needed. And then we all know what an SD card looks like, so I'm not going to worry about opening those here and now. I will be installing my Linux operating system that I'll be using for my Raspberry Pi on here. We'll be using code blocks on there, and in addition, we will be also adding VNC, so I can VNC in from my other system, and I don't have to use a monitor or an attachable keyboard to the Raspberry Pi. And finally, for some of the tests we'll be doing, just to have different sensors to play with, I got a pack from Inland of 37 in one sensor, so 37 in one box. So let's take a look what's actually in here. I do know that I'll need certain sensors from here already, just because I've done some reading beforehand. All right. I think I was making a comment earlier that I never finished about if you know your brands, you know where I bought some of this stuff from. Oddly, no. Micro Center is the one place I cannot find a Raspberry Pi of any sort outside of a Zero, and a Zero won't work for what I'm trying to do, or a Pico. And you can see the price I paid. I think it is $10 more expensive now. The only reason I got it there was it was $1 cheaper than that was on Amazon. All right, so we have a nice little tackle box of parts in here. Each are individually sealed. So let's go ahead and open that up. So yeah, they each appear to be individually sealed. I'm just going to take a random one. So this is a Hall sensor. So they're nicely labeled at the top, if you can't see, with what they are. Right, a couple other things we have for this project, which are not on camera. Well, partially are on camera, but I can bring one on camera. Is even though I said I'm going to use VNC to remote into the Raspberry Pi for this project so I can avoid using a monitor, I do have a little monitor that I am borrowing from my work set really quickly, and this would be just for the next video. It's this one right here. It's a simple Zen screen from Asus. It only does 1080p, which when having worked in 2K and 4K monitors for the last several years is a shock to go back to. I remember when it was a big thing. And then slightly off camera here is a Dell laptop. It's an Inspiron with a Quattro 2 or 3000 in here. I can't remember. It's what I use for a lot of my AI tests. It is where I'll be running my Ubuntu system from. This Ubuntu system is a bit slow, so I'm recording on a different laptop, and is useful for, well, a few of the AI environments, but we're going to be using it to communicate with the Raspberry Pi. All right, that said, I'll see you in the next video, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.